Hello and welcome to this episode of the Blog Chronicles. I am your host, Matthew Loomis. Here on the Blog Chronicles podcast, we talk with world-renowned bloggers living their dreams and mid-tier bloggers chasing their dreams. What we do is dive deep into their personal story and or talk about their expertise and find out some things they know that can help bloggers like you be more successful. Before we begin, let me point out that the Blog Chronicles is sponsored by BuildYourOwnBlog.net, the full-service destination for people who want to start their own WordPress blog and achieve long-term success. Visit BuildYourOwnBlog.net to start your new blog today. All right, who is going to be our guest today? He's a VP of sales with a well-known internet business called WebCEO, and today we're going to talk about something called voice search. At this point, many of us are already using voice search, whether it's Siri or S-Voice or Alexa or Cortana. We know what to do on that side of voice search. It's easy to use voice search as a customer. We just talk, say what we're wanting, and that's it. The computer does the rest. But what about on the receiving end? As a blogger or online business owner, how is the ever-growing use of voice search going to affect your website traffic? Voice search is definitely changing SEO as we've known it and will continue to forever impact search results and how people find your blog when using a search engine. So if you're listening now and thinking, oh wow, I'm not exactly sure what voice search is all about, and I have no idea what I need to know or do to take advantage of this change in SEO and make sure that my blog isn't missing a lot of traffic because of the ways voice search is impacting how people find stuff online. If that's you, let's get right to it with today's guest because he's not only a voice search expert, he also has a new resource that is going to help online businesses and bloggers optimize their websites for voice search. So kick back with me as we get our blog chronicle on with Alan MacCannell. Hi, Alan. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning. How are things over in the Ukraine?
Oh, well, I'm with the programmers here at WebCEO, and we're very, very busy. We'll be working all summer long on new functionality, and I believe one of the big products that we expect to have in the fall is why I'm on the air with you right now, and that would be our voice search product.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment. Alan, you are the VP of Sales and Partnerships for an online business called WebCEO, a business I'm sorry?
Oh, yes, exactly. WebCEO.com, yes.
Right. We don't want to leave off the .com. WebCEO.com.
The main competitor of Moz and Raven online.
Okay. This is a business that I'm just now getting acquainted with. So for people like me who may not be familiar with WebCEO, tell us about the company, what products or services it provides, and anything else we should know.
Okay. WebCEO was founded in the year 2000, so we were pretty well the first people on the scene for search engines, for SEO software that deals with search engines. And like, for instance, if you may remember from the distant past, the old desktop software people had that would automatically submit your website to search engines, because back then you could do this through software, that the software could automatically submit to 20, 30 different search engines. And after a while, that sort of dropped off, and Google and Yahoo and others, expected you to actually go to the website yourself and sign in and not just have a machine submit your URL for indexing. And that slowly fell off. But that's what made us famous. We were the main company that did that, and people all used us probably. And then a lot of people were WebCEO customers and don't even remember it. And then over the years, of course, that dropped off in importance, and it became more important for SEO tools, which of course were all desktop downloadable software, at least until around 2006, 2007. But we were then used to make sure that, to check rankings, as well as to make sure that your websites are properly optimized in terms of the meta tags, etc. And then it grew from there. So now we have 45 different tools because there are now over 200 main ranking factors that Google, for instance, looks at to decide how to rank a site. And you need a lot of software to to help you optimize for as many of those 200 factors as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So things really grew from there, and it's constantly growing because the industry is constantly changing, and that's why, for instance, over the summer we're working so hard on the new voice search product.
Right. So before we get into that, what are a couple of your best known products right now?
Well, that's the art, and so we were the desktop king, right through the end of 2010. When we still have the desktop product, but that's January 2011 is when we fully launched the online version of our tools. And one of our customers was Rand Fishkin of Moz early on, but I think in 2006, he wrote on the forum, he said, you guys need to have online tools. And then he had like a ... And then he says, wait a minute, scratch that. I think I'm going to go out and develop my own online tools. And so lo and behold, one of our customers went out and created Moz. And they're still bigger than we are.
Oh, wow.
In other words, it became bigger than we are, and they're still bigger than they are. Really great company, and that's one of our customers. Now, of course, we had to respond to that because he was going to completely eat our lunch, and so in 2009 all of 2010, we developed the online version, and by January 2011 we were able to launch, and then managed to keep our market share, because if it was like in the nick of time during the year 2011 and 2012, desktop software sales collapsed across all industries, and because more and more people are attached to the internet, especially through things like 3G, and therefore people are reliant now on the internet and online tools, and desktop has really, well, I guess you can say desktop has been replaced by mobile apps. Which you can download on Androids and all that, but we did then become a big leader in the online SEO tools, and that's so that's our main product. That our average sale is about 100. Our average monthly customer pays about $175 monthly on average. That's because we have a very large amount of agencies that work with us, and they have flexible billing, which means if they only have 10 customers, they're paying us maybe $140, and if they have 25 customers, they might be paying us $200 a month, and they like using us because as they gain customers or lose customers, the pricing goes up and down accordingly. But a lot of startups and mom and pop shops can pay $99 a month to use our startup plan, and that allows 5 projects and 200 keywords, and you can do a lot with that. You can do a lot. So we have an enormous amount of customers that just pay us $99 a month, but it still averages $175 because we've got really huge advertising agencies and other digital agencies that will be paying us $1,000 or $1,500 a month, and so it averages out to $175.
All right, that's some fascinating history. Rand has been on the show before, so I know he's quite
he's a really good guy,
personality out there. Now let's get to the product that I know you're excited about. It's called Voice Search SEO Module, and it sounds like it's going to be a really good product for businesses and bloggers. So I'd like for you to share with us more details about this product. But before you do, let's talk first about voice search. I think it's good for everyone listening to know and understand what voice search is and why bloggers and internet business owners should be thinking about voice search.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's a very, very interesting question, and it's a hot topic as well, because as many people have said, what on earth would cause you to want to have a device in your home that listens to everything you're saying and is waiting theoretically for you to say, okay, Google, or hey, Alexa, and then get their attention when obviously they are listening because they're waiting to hear you ask them to do something, which makes you wonder why you would even dare have that in your home, because they're listening. They're waiting to hear the right words, but they could be recording everything you're saying as well. Of course, then you might think that your smartphones are already listening to everything that you're saying, and that even if you shut your smartphone off, it's still listening to everything you're saying. So people can say, well, it doesn't matter anyway, but
wow.
Yeah, a lot of people though, however, and this is what's going to drive voice search, is that sometimes you have to keep your hands free, and so we're wandering around our homes with our smartphones, And even while we're eating, we can still punch in things and listen to YouTube. That video is actually taking off right now. I think more YouTube searches are happening now. And by the way, we've added YouTube in our rank tracker.
Okay.
Because it doesn't find your website; it finds your channel.
So, okay.
So if you type in a keyword, then and you're number 8 in the YouTube results, it won't be your website that's number 8. It'll be your YouTube channel that's number 8. But that's very important to know about. And if you don't have a YouTube channel, you're going to be left out because a lot of people are looking for videos. Now, this is related. The voice search is related though because voice search is going to be connected to a lot of apps. It's got a lot of vertical silos or whatever. So if you're going to ask how to buy a pizza, different voice search devices they'll give you either the first result that's coming into Google, which might be the Wikipedia article about pizza, or which one isn't going to help you, right? The Wikipedia article pizza, which reminds me, by the way, of how Burger King tried to manipulate the results. They said in one of their on their ads that would be on YouTube, the guy said on the ad, he says, "Okay, Google, tell me about the Burger King Whopper," and then by doing that, the YouTube triggered the YouTube search, voice search, and then suddenly the machine that the people were operating their YouTube on suddenly came to life and then opened up a website that showed the Wikipedia article on the Whopper.
Interesting.
Which was a really brilliant. It was brilliant for about a week, and then a lot of hooligans decided to change the edit the Wikipedia article on the Whopper and say that like a list of ingredients. They'd say, ketchup, mayonnaise, mustard, cyanide, pepper, right? And they just added the word cyanide, right? And it took a little while for the moderators of Wikipedia to catch that. And so what happened is the voice search result for "Tell me about the Burger King Whopper" would list, and the ingredients of the Burger King Whopper has mustard, ketchup, onions, cyanide, and it was like really funny for the people that adopted the results. But that could happen. Now, though, what other search devices will be doing, though, is they'll be making deals. Either with Yelp or with other services, the verticals for food or for travel, like I think one of the big devices now is going. I'm calling them devices, but it's a product. We'll use Kayak for travel results. So and it won't just be results. It'll be actually book me. So people will say, okay, Alexa, book me, or Amazon, right? Okay, Amazon, book me a trip to Portland, a nice bed and breakfast on the ocean, within 3 hours of Portland, and then maybe give some others that allow a child's bed to be, or cot or whatever, and then theoretically, then the machine will search through various results and come up with an answer. So it's going to get really complicated, and what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have all the devices, including the brand new Apple HomePod that was announced on Monday, which is why it's serendipity that we're having this discussion today on Thursday, when on Monday. It was just Apple just announced that they're replacing their Siri, not replacing their Siri product, but they're actually releasing a product called HomePod. So whereas Siri will be operating on a smartphone using Bing, or at least it does now, maybe the Apple HomePod will be using Google. That's what they're saying now. That there's a switch from Bing to Google, and the Apple HomePod will be operating. And so the idea, though, is that one reason why we have to have our a special module is because, for several reasons. Number one is a lot of times they're only going to have one answer, and our rank tracker doesn't work that way, where we just say all the number one rankings. We tell you if you're number 99 in the rankings. So when we added YouTube as a search engine, and we'll add Amazon soon, we're still going to let you know that your product is number 99 in the Amazon rankings. But that's not going to help if Amazon's only going to give the number one result as the answer.
Okay.
And also with our product right now, with our rank tracker, you yourself decide what your keyword basket is that we're going to rank check. But maybe you're missing out on different keywords that you could be looking for. And we have a great keyword research tool that you can type in some keywords, and then we'll give you long tail results. We'll give you keywords that have been like through SEMrush or through other services we use as third parties. We'll give you back what people have typed in as similar answers to your keyword, and so you could add those to your basket for rank tracking because they're very similar. And we'll even tell you how many requests for that keyword have occurred, not only globally in the past month, but we'll tell you in your local city, county, and state and country how many people have. And so that really helps people decide how important it is. And we have other factors. There's the keyword efficiency index that we have, and also soon we're adding the keyword difficulty index. But with voice search, it's going to be a lot. It's going to become a lot more important because people are really going to use a lot more. People are not going to say the same things in voice search that they have been typing in.
Yeah, Alan, do you have any statistics on how many internet users are using voice search and how much that's going to grow?
Yeah, they say it's about 18 to 20% right now.
Okay.
And at least in cars, it's going to really take off because if you're in a car, you have to have your hands on the wheel, and people are going to want it more and more. They had to wait until there was a 95% accuracy rate in understanding the request, because there was an issue where Google constantly got it wrong what you were asking. And the most famous example, of course, is when people like the Jason Bourne movies with Matt Damon.
Yeah.
And then they'd say, how can I, or which is the latest Bourne movie? And then Google would always answer with the latest porn movie.
With what?
Because the latest porn movie.
So, okay.
So Google would actually give the latest porn movie instead of the latest Jason Bourne movie, because it's just really hard. And I had the main guy here working on the new product was just doing that today. He was asking about the latest Bourne movie, Jason Bourne movie, and it came back with a list of the latest war movies.
Okay. So
Google Voice Search was taking Bourne for war instead of porn. So one of the things we'll be doing about our tool is we're going to have the different tools. We're going to have a synthesizer actually inside a box on our premises. The synthesizer will say the question, and then the column, the device, will actually then listen to the synthesizer make the request, and we'll see how accurate they got that request.
Interesting.
It might depend on the accent or whatever, but and then we'll give that answer. So we'll add that extra authenticity to the results.
Okay.
And,
maybe Google just needs to clean the wax out of its ears. I don't know.
Well, yeah, they're saying that Google really has to get up to 99% before this really takes off.
Yeah.
But I've also heard if they're at 95%, that's good enough.
Sure.
But I can see it taking off. But I think the privacy aspect is holding it back a little bit right now, because I mean, one of the first things I would think of about having that in my home is it's always listening. It's waiting for me to say its name. But when we were kids, though, we always knew that the future world of the 2000s would include robots, and robots would always be there listening, and they're connected to the Matrix type of thing, and I guess back then we thought that the robots would be so smart they'd have all this knowledge inside of them.
Right.
And once you realize that, no, the robots are going to have access to the internet and the ability to use artificial intelligence to get information off of the internet, and then synthesize that into an answer. So artificial intelligence is going to come into play in terms of the answers from these products. That's why we have to have a separate module, because we don't think that the results are going to be a pure play of Google results, and we know that because Google already gives different results for mobile phones than they do for desktops.
Yes.
Privacy. They're
Yeah.
going to start giving different results for voice searches, and so we're going to have to check that to make sure that that we get the right results. But I think one of the biggest things though of the product though will be helping users figure out exactly what questions they can end up being number one for.
Yeah.
And so that's going to require more as a keyword research tool than a rank tracking tool.
Okay. We could talk a lot more about privacy and a lot of these things. Yeah, maybe I could have you back on sometime to talk some more about some of these other aspects to this. Alan, when it comes to voice search and keyboard search, can you talk a little bit about the nuances and subtle differences between the two?
Well, that's right. There's who, what, where, and when. People usually don't add those when they're making a desktop search or even a mobile search. People do cut off the ands and does and is and all the rest when they're actually typing something in. Mm-hmm. We've noticed that a lot. They don't add the full sentence in. When people are used to doing searches where they don't type in the Queen's English. Mm-hmm. And yet, with voice search, they're going to be using the Queen's in English a lot more. They're going to actually use real English, or real other languages.
Right.
And and that's also a big point with us is because not only are our tools translated into most languages by a special wiki tool, our customers translate for us.
Right.
But also we handle the written form of every language that people can type into Google. So Arabic. Russian.
Yeah, so if somebody's using your voice search tool, and then they're using a keyboard search tool like Google's Keyword Planner, for example, you could end up with two very different results for the same thing, right?
Yes, right. And we're gonna need to see if SEM Rush and all that will be giving us more information on that, but also we can get a lot of that ourselves as well. Coming up with actual phrases that people would use on voice that are different from the phrases that they seem to have been using on. Because like right now, when we use our keyword research tool, very rarely do full sentences come out as having been often searched for. We find, like we have a section where we say include all the words in the keyword. So let's say Chicago SEO company. So someone types in Chicago SEO company into our keyword research tool. Normally it would show every search by popularity in the Cook County area. So we'll have Cook County, which is where Chicago's located, and then we'll have a list of all the words that were associated with that Chicago SEO company, and all the keyword combinations sorted by popularity in Cook County over the past month. But when I look at that, it says Chicago SEO company Chicago, et cetera, and the company SEO Chicago. It just mixes things up, and it does say SEO company in Chicago. They add the word in, but very rarely does it say where can I find or I need. Like people will say this, I need to find. Mm-hmm. So things are going to get really long. Hey Google, I need to find a search company, and that I need to find has to get processed somehow.
That's interesting. Do you think eventually we'll start talking more in broken fragments, or will this?
No, and that's what I was saying earlier. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think people are going to say, hey Google, SEO company Chicago. I don't think that'll ever happen.
Okay, because you feel like you have a relationship sort of with this product.
I feel like, and there are several movies. I thought they're kind of dumb movies, but there were movies where the people have relationships with their robot computer. And,
right.
And they were fascinating. I watched them, trying to see future product concepts. When I watched the movies, I watched them as a company project. Mm-hmm. but yeah, they do get emotionally involved in their robots, and this is basically where it's going. These voice search devices, by the way, they are the front lines of robot technology. So this is all going to be combined with robots pretty soon.
Yes. Okay. What are some things that a website owner can do to make their sites more voice search friendly?
Yes, that's a very good question. Well, one of the big things is local, obviously. So you really have to start making sure that if you're a local business, you better have your location, your address properly listed on your website everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other things that you can do as well, and that is, well, you have to think of what people will be asking. Like, I need a pizza with these toppings on it. Like, order me a pizza, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then so you have to use maybe schema markup more, because I bet that these services will be using the schema markup. The schema.org can help you with that.
Okay.
And if you can break it down, and I think schema will be developing constantly, and so that you should keep your eyes on what's going on, because there will be basically code that you enter on your website that basically will amount to, if you don't include this code, you won't be included in any voice search results. It's just like the AMP. Right now, you need AMP for your mobile version of your website.
Right.
And so the AMP technology has to be on your website so that mobile phones will use that and then create the mobile site for phones. But also with the voice search, there will be schema markup that will allow you to order pizza. So people say, I need to order a pizza with anchovies and pepperoni and mushrooms and tomatoes. And you will have that in a list of ingredients that can be ordered, kind of like Google Shopping, kind of like along those lines. So you really have to get with the program on some of these vertical code things that you need to add to your website in order to be included. But once you do that, then you can actually really get somewhere, because what will happen is if someone says, I need to order a pizza with anchovies and pepperoni, then you have to be within 10 miles or 5 miles of that person.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not, then the other person is. So if you are located in a rural area and you're just one of two pizza parlors, you have a really good chance of getting all the voice search business.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, you're out in Missouri on the plains, and maybe 3 or 4 pizza parlors in a town. But your website has the best markup. You're scoring all the hey Google, order me a pizza, and it's like Google will, and then I guess Google will actually order the pizza, which is quite interesting how that's going to happen.
Right. Wow.
So I mean, what would happen if you work at a pizza joint and you're constantly getting the synthesized voice from Google? Hi, John's Pizza Place. This is Google. We're about to make an order for you, and we have this guy's credit card already, right? So the name of the person delivered to is such and such. This is the person's address. This is their credit card number. Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like there's a privacy thing there too, right? Because if you say you're authorizing Google to make an order for you, or authorizing Amazon. Now, Amazon, of course, that's already happening.
Yeah.
In fact, what happened? The little girl ordered a dollhouse, and Amazon delivered it, and then it was national news because the parents hadn't agreed to it.
Right.
Those are little glitches and kinks that'll be worked out. But it's very, very interesting though that all this is really rapidly moving towards reality. So if you can then delineate who you are. Now, if you're in a city like Sunnyvale, California, and I used to live there. I don't know how many pizza joints, but I'm sure there were plenty over on the El Camino Highway at least. Then you'd have to compete with 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 other pizza joints in New York and Manhattan. It would be really crazy, and so you'd have to. But you'd have to win for a certain combination, because theoretically anything that person says can change the location that they're going to order from, or that's not what's going to happen. maybe there'll be, the device has decided automatically what place they're gonna by default order from.
Wow, this is all so fascinating. I mean, we could talk for
Find me the
another
pizza
hour.
place with the best reviews, right? And then
Right.
what reviews? Yelp reviews, Google reviews.
Yes.
Find me the pizza place with the best reviews, and then order pizza with. So
reviews are going to continue to be important.
Yeah, so we're really getting into that, and then we're developing a module that will help people wrap their strategies around it, because that's what we mainly do, is we help people deal with optimizing their businesses.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I know on your blog you have an article called "The 3 Best SEO Practices That Will Help Make Your Website Voice Search Friendly," and you can find a link to that blog post in the show notes. Alan, before we wrap up the show, I'm curious to find out if you do consider yourself a blogger.
Oh, that's a good question. Well, we produce about one blog post per week, and so personally, though, we have a team of experts that actually do the research. So I mean, I basically edit.
Okay.
So I'm like the editor over at one of the newspapers where a good post is written, and then I help maybe move things around. But yeah, I often decide on a photograph or something like that. But I also ask for input from everybody else and from the main bloggers. So we have a really a great new guy that he's actually been for 4 months now. He's been producing a lot of the great new content.
Interesting. Very good. I was just curious if you were producing your, doing your own writing as well or anything like that.
No, personally, I'm more of an editor because I'm like VP sales, and so I'm more into actually talking to big potential customers.
Gotcha. Okay. Sounds good. So, Alan, when is this product going to be available?
Well, we're shooting for September. I can see it releasing in the Halloween time period, meaning the October period.
Okay. So this fall?
We're shooting for September, but what happens is, something really big like that can come in early October or something like that. But yeah, it'll be around, that'll be when our website is covered with fall foliage and spiders and stuff. That we always do that in the Halloween period.
Yeah.
In fact, one customer almost broke his monitor because a really ugly spider started to sile down from the top.
Oh,
he thought
wow.
it was a real spider on his computer. And so he almost busted his computer trying to kill it.
Oh, my. Yeah, that's funny. I just killed one yesterday in my office. It was pretty huge.
Yeah, well, I didn't kill one about a week ago that came out of a piece of clothing. And I regret that to this day that I did. I remember, thinking about all these people saying, "Oh, you don't kill spiders and all that." And so I decided a few seconds to give him a reprieve, and that was all he needed was to disappear. And now I'm realizing, I put clothes on. I'm like checking inside, and
yeah, I've got to kill them because of my kids. They freak out. So, yeah, but I hear you.
If they're anywhere near clothes, you have to kill them.
Yeah, exactly. Alan, so if somebody wants to stay in touch or, keep abreast of the development and when this is going to be out, do you have a newsletter or something they can subscribe to?
Well, the WebCEO.com blog, yeah, you can.
Okay.
Well, also though, these days, in terms of subscribing, definitely go to Twitter WebCEO.
Okay.
So /WebCEO. There's also a /WebCEO news.
Okay.
The difference being WebCEO just shows our own content, and WebCEO news goes crazy, showing all relevant SEO content every day, and it's a lot more active. But WebCEO itself has the more followers. We have close to 12,000 followers now, or 11,500 or something like that. On so Twitter WebCEO, then also on Facebook.
Okay.
WebCEO.SEO.software. So Facebook /WebCEO one word .SEO.software, and then Pinterest and LinkedIn
Okay.
You can find us on LinkedIn, and yeah, all of our and Google Plus. Of course, you have to be involved with Google Plus because Google considers it very highly for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
no, they do, and so we have to tell our customers that. We always have to remind them, hey, you need an active Google Plus account, and several actually, because Google considers Google Plus activity to be good for your SEO, and a lot of people don't understand that. They don't, why would Google rate its own social media highly? And then you have to think of human nature. Of course they do.
Yeah.
If you want to do well on Google, then make sure that you have an active Google Plus.
And that's still true. Yeah, you're right. Even today.
It's just logical, It's like when I went into Dell Computers with a colleague many years ago. We were selling PCI adapter cards for computers, and then I had he had a laptop that he wanted to show a presentation on. So we were flying from Seattle to Austin, and he was sitting next to me. He says, "Okay, let's go over our presentation." So he opened up his Toshiba laptop, and he started going over his presentation. And I looked at him and I said, "Do you know what you're doing wrong?" And he's like, "No, what?" And I said, and then finally I had to say, you've just opened up a Toshiba laptop. If you think you're going to go into that presentation with a Toshiba laptop, you're sorely mistaken. He's like, "Oh, come on. They're not going to notice. They're not going to care." And I had to actually tell him, "Listen, I am not going into that presentation room with you if you're going to be dumb enough to take a Toshiba laptop, right?" So finally he was like really shocked that I'd speak to him that way. And then we went into the meeting, and during the meeting, without the laptop, and we didn't do his presentation, during that meeting, we were joking around, and I actually said to them, I said, what would you have done if we had actually walked in and done a presentation on a laptop other than Dell? And the answer they gave back sent shivers down my colleague's spine. It was really nasty. Like, we would have shown you the door, and they were serious. They said people have tried to do that, and we showed them the door. They were obviously not serious about us or something like that. And it really shocked my colleagues, shocked me that they would answer that. If we had done that, and so it's sort of the same thing with Google Plus. You have to have an active Google Plus if you want Google to to give you that extra push.
Absolutely, that could be another whole show in and of itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Alan,
so we can have another such meeting as our in September.
I'd love to have you back on this fall. We can talk about more about voice search and how the product's doing. That would be great. So this has been a fascinating conversation, and Alan, I want to thank you for coming on the Blog Chronicles today.
Well, thank you, Matthew. It was a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Blog Chronicles. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe on YouTube or iTunes and leave a rating or review to help other bloggers find us. If you do want to chat, look me up on Twitter at Matt Loomis. On the next show, we're going to wrap up a two-part episode on how to execute a quality Roundup post with my guest and Roundup collaborator, Maddie Osman. We'll be talking about how the process went with creating the Roundup, the results, and what we can do next time to make it better. So until next time, thanks for tuning in to the Blog Chronicles.